Many people mistake liking for true bonding. Liking soon disappears, but when someone feels a deep soul tie with you, that feeling never leaves them. And here is the surprising part. You don't need to guess. There are very clear signs that show it. Once you spot them, you will never doubt your place again. Let's look at them. First, when someone feels that stronger connection, there is a powerful pull. They are attracted to you in ways they cannot explain, and they accept it. Second, comfort. Complete comfort. They do not need to impress you or hide behind a fake self when they are near you. They can be messy, quiet, silly, open, and they know they are secure. Third, you will notice a silent understanding. The looks, the unfinished sentences, the way you simply know what they meant without a word. That is not luck. That is fitting together. And here is a big one. Time feels strange with them. Hours pass like minutes. But when you are away, even a short time feels heavy. Before I give you the rest of the signs, wait a moment. If this is already ringing true, press the like button. It not only tells me this helped you, but it allows more people to find this message too. And if you want more ideas like this, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss the next piece that could change your whole view. There are meetings, and then there are crashes of spirits. Moments when another person does not just come into your life, but stirs something at the deepest core of who you are. You cannot explain it with reason. You cannot judge it with simple lists. It is not only liking or even getting along well. It is about seeing one another. Something in them feels oddly known, but not in a way that connects to your past. It feels like home in a place you have never seen. That is what a soul tie is. And when it comes, you will know not only by how you feel, but by what begins to happen around you. Because this kind of bond does not stay hidden. It shows itself through patterns, through strength, through an undeniable change inside your inner world. You start to notice signs, small yet powerful, that this is not just another person. This is someone your spirit has been waiting for. And when they feel that same pull with you, those signs appear too. Not always loud, not always clear, but always real, always important. And if you are aware enough, honest enough, and brave enough, you will recognize them for what they are. Proof that this moment, this person, this bond means more than any words could ever say. There is something very mysterious about human connections, something that fights explanation, even while it asks to be understood. When two people meet and an unspoken link forms, it is not just chemistry, nor is it simple liking. It is as though two signals match, creating a harmony that cuts through all the noise of life. This is not about grand actions or planned talks. It is about a quiet pull, a force that does not need approval from the outside world. It is felt in stillness, in silence, in the gaps between the words. When someone feels a soul bond with you, this kind of emotional harmony becomes impossible to miss. You have likely had talks where your words went unheard, where you had to explain every feeling, defend every answer. Now compare that to the kind of exchange where you barely speak, yet you are fully understood, where a look across the room says everything. That is what a soul tie does. It makes you feel seen without needing to shout. It is not about putting on a show. It is about being real and being met with the same pure presence in return. And it is uncommon. It is not the usual thing, and that is exactly why it feels so strong when it comes. Most friendships work on what is visible: status, looks, habits, getting along on paper. But a soul tie ignores all that. It does not care about the outside look. It dives into the inner structure of who you are. You will notice this when someone starts replying not just to your words, but to the energy behind them. They notice when your mood changes, when your spirit pulls back, even when your face has not moved. They sense when something is wrong, not because you told them, but because something in them caught it. That kind of awareness is not simply a skill, it is a sign that something deeper is going on. This kind of connection is not something you can plan. You cannot trick your way into it. In fact, the more you try to control or force it, the more it gets away. It often surprises you, maybe in a quiet moment, maybe while laughing together, or maybe in shared silence. There is no acting here, no games, no need to impress. You just are. And they just are. And somehow the meeting of those two truths feels richer than anything you have ever known before. That is emotional harmony. the feeling that you are moving in rhythm with another person. But here is the surprise. It is not always immediately loving. It does not have to be. Sometimes that harmony shows up in moments of deep caring or shared understanding. It is not about needing the other person to make you complete. It is about being fully yourself and seeing that they not only accept it, but are drawn to it. They do not run away from your depth. They do not change the topic when your feelings get complicated. Instead, they remain steady, still connected, because they are not reacting only to your outside. They are responding to something inside you that speaks to something inside them. It is important to see that this silent harmony is not always easy. It carries a strange openness because being seen that clearly can feel unsettling. It breaks down defenses you have built for years. It questions the masks you have worn just to get by. And truly, that is the point. Soul bonds interrupt ordinary emotional habits. They push you out of automatic behavior. They demand truth because they make it impossible to hide. When someone feels this bond with you, they do not just notice you, they share in your emotional world, often without knowing exactly why. There is a shared feeling that bypasses reason. You might hear yourself saying things you never planned. You might show parts of yourself you once protected with hard walls. Not because you were forced, but because you felt safe enough. That sense of safety is everything. When someone has this deep link with you, they do not use your weak points against you. They hold them gently, not from pity, but from respect. They know what it means to be fragile in this world. They know most people listen only to answer, not to understand, and they choose differently. They listen in a way that makes you feel whole, real, valued, even with your mistakes. And as time goes on, this kind of emotional harmony builds a place where growth becomes possible. You grow not because they change you, but because being with them makes you want to step more into yourself. You are not shrinking to please them. You are expanding to meet the depth of the bond. That is the difference. In shallow connections, you shrink to fit in. In soul bonds, you expand to hold the meaning that is forming between you. You will know someone feels this pull with you when they do not run away from your strong feelings. They do not quiet your emotions. They do not reduce your passion. They lean closer, not because they have all the answers, but because they value the link more than the safety of emotional distance. There is no scorekeeping, no faking, just two people recognizing something that does not need to be named to be real. That is what makes this kind of connection sacred. It does not need explanations. You do not have to prove its worth. You feel it in the way you breathe easier around them. You see it in their eyes when words are not enough. You hear it in the silences, not only in the sentences, and you carry it with you even when they are not near. Because a soul tie is not something you leave behind. It stays like a quiet sound under everything else. Something always changes when such a connection truly exists. Something that fights normal timelines and simple explanations. Time starts to act in another way. What should feel fast or slow instead becomes natural. It is not that the hours stop moving, it is that you stop noticing them in the presence of this person. Moments get wider, talks continue into the early hours of the morning without feeling tired. Silence fills the air, not with awkwardness, but with peace. The usual clock that runs our days disappears because something more lasting has entered. That is one of the clearest signs someone feels a soul tie with you. Time loses its power. This is not a dreamy idea. It is not about being so distracted that you ignore the world. It is about being so in tune that the world no longer feels like something you need to escape. You are not using each other as a fix for boredom or pain. You are connecting one another in a shared experience that feels both endless and present at the same time. That is very rare. Most people live in friendships that are like trades built on what is given and what is taken. They check in and out of emotional talks. But when the bond is real, time is no longer payment. It becomes presence. You will notice this difference when you are apart too. In usual friendships, distance brings doubt, worry, and the need for constant checking in. But a soul tie runs on different rules. The bond does not fade in absence. It only grows quiet like a flame that burns low, but never goes out. You carry them inside you, not in a way that feels heavy, but in a way that calms you. The connection stays constant, like a low sound, always in the background. You do not feel forgotten even when you have not spoken for days. You do not feel replaced even when life pulls you in other ways. There is a calm certainty that what you share is not weak. It is rooted in something beyond being close in space. This is not about relying on them. It is not about thinking too much about someone until they become your whole self. It is about trust. Not only trust in the person, but in the bond itself. You trust the flow even when the speed changes. You do not panic when the messages slow down. You do not doubt your worth when plans change, because you are not acting from fear. You are acting from harmony. And that trust is only possible when time has already shown you the depth of what you have. When every shared moment has proved that what is between you can last through silence, distance, and even uncertainty. When someone feels this bond with you, they won't need daily checks. They won't need constant convincing to stay close. Something in them knows, even when life gets messy, they can be fully busy with their work, their jobs, their personal problems, and still you live in their inner world, not as a chore, not as a duty, but as a steady presence, as something important they return to when they need to recall who they are and what matters most. And you will notice the same thing happening in yourself. You won't need their constant presence to feel their importance. You won't depend on them to keep you emotionally active, because the connection does not ask that of you. Instead, it becomes a quiet source of strength, something you gain from, something that reminds you of your depth, your value, and your ability to connect beyond the shallow. And in that way, it makes you more complete, not more dependent. Even when apart, you feel it in the way certain songs touch you differently, in the way you think about talks long after they ended, in the way your instinct senses their energy without needing proof. There is almost a kind of mind reading that can grow when two spirits are tuned together. It is not magic thinking. It is a result of emotional and mental fitting together. You begin to sense their needs before they say them. You feel their pain before they show it. You celebrate their wins even if you were not there. Because a connection at this level does not need physical closeness to stay alive. It lives in the space between time and purpose. But that does not mean the friendship is without effort. The bond may feel timeless, but the people in it still live inside time. You will still face schedules, tasks, disagreements, and mistakes. But when the foundation is a soul tie, those surface problems do not break the core. You are able to return to one another without starting over from scratch. There is a sense of flow, a shared rhythm that starts up right where it stopped, no matter how long the silence lasted. And then you see something even deeper. This kind of connection teaches you patience, not the kind of patience that holds back frustration, but the kind that trusts timing. You stop rushing results. You stop demanding immediate clarity. You begin allowing the bond to breathe, to unfold, to show its depth over time. You no longer see time apart as danger. You see it as needed space for thinking, for personal growth, for the bond to deepen naturally. So if you find yourself in a connection where time stands still when you are together and remains important even when apart, do not ignore it. Do not overthink it until it dies. Just notice. Ask yourself, do you feel rushed or do you feel real? Do you feel empty when they leave or do you feel expanded? Do you measure time with them in minutes or in meaning? These answers will tell you more than anything else, because when someone feels a soul tie with you, time will not be your enemy. It becomes your friend, bending quietly around a bond that refuses to shrink into brief moments. Most people picture soul ties as soft, like a poem, easy experiences, something sweet and gentle. But the truth is more complex. When someone feels a soul tie with you, it does not just calm, it challenges, it wakes up parts of you. And what it stirs is not always comfortable. It is your unsolved feelings, your fears, your worries, your deep wish to be seen mixed with your greatest fear of being seen and pushed away. Soul connections carry a kind of pressure to grow. They call you into openness, not because they are smooth or painless, but because they are meaningful. The first strength can feel heavy. You might ask yourself, why do I feel so much this quickly? That confusion is natural. It is what happens when you are not only meeting another person, but also meeting yourself in their presence. They hold up a mirror, not to judge you, but to show the truth you have been avoiding. And the strange part is, it is not even on purpose. They are not trying to fix you or break you apart. They are just being real. And their realness forces you to face your own layers with honesty. That honesty feels both freeing and uncomfortable at the same time. You will notice this bond stirs up old hurts, not because they are hurting you, but because their presence touches places you haven't healed. You might catch yourself reacting in ways that surprise you, getting defensive, pulling back, or suddenly afraid. That fear does not mean the connection is wrong. It means it is deep enough to reach what you have buried. And in that moment, there is a choice. You either retreat into what feels safe, or you lean into growth. If they feel the same soul-level bond with you, they won't punish you for being scared. They won't use your weakness against you or expect you to be perfect. What they will do instead is stay present. They may challenge you, yes, but never with unkindness. They will push you to open, to stretch, to be more real than you have ever been. That does not always feel soft. Growth rarely does, but it feels right. It feels needed, because this kind of connection is not here to protect your ego. It is here to grow your spirit. You will find yourself saying things like, "I've never told anyone this before," not because you planned it, but because something in you trusts them with the truth. And once you have let that truth out, whether it is fear, memory, or doubt, the scariest part is over. What happens next becomes the test. Do they stay? Do they flinch? Or do they hold your truth with care, knowing how heavy it was for you to share? That moment after your vulnerability is shown is when the connection shows its depth. When someone feels a soul tie with you, they do not run away from your unease. They sit in it with you. They do not rescue you from your pain because they respect you too much to treat you as if you are broken. But they also do not leave you to suffer alone. Instead, they stand as a watcher, a steady, consistent watcher to your unfolding, and in return, you do the same for them. That mutual watching, that shared openness becomes the base for closeness that cannot be faked. This is not always smooth. A soul bond does not promise automatic getting along. It does not guarantee immediate agreement in daily life goals, or ways of showing feelings. In fact, the pull between who you have been and who you are becoming can create rubbing, but it is purposeful rubbing. It is the kind that wears down your ego just enough to let your true self out. That is the role of a soul connection, to break what needs breaking and to care for what is real under the wreckage. Many people run away from this kind of bond because it feels too strong. They mistake the discomfort for something harmful, but the two are different. Harmfulness tricks and twists. A soul connection shows and lifts. One traps you in cycles. The other calls you higher, even when it is uncomfortable. You will know it is a true soul tie when the challenge you feel in their presence is not about making yourself smaller or quieter. It is about being seen and being held responsible for who you could be if you stopped hiding. You will notice talks that cut deeper than surface nice words. They will ask questions that stay with you. They will speak truths that unsettle the stories you tell yourself, not to hurt, but to wake you. That is what real connection does. It wakes you to your habits, to your potential, and demands you show up fully, not halfway. Over time, something powerful happens. You begin to see that the tension, the challenge, the discomfort was never a threat. It was an invitation to grow, not just as a partner, but as a person. And if they feel this bond with you, they will be growing too. You will notice them becoming more thoughtful, more open, more self-aware. It is change. This kind of bond cannot last with masks. It demands honesty even when it is messy. It asks for presence even when leaving would be easier, and above all, it calls for responsibility, not the harsh kind, but the kind that says, "I see you and I believe in who you can become." That is rare, and when it happens, or rather when it finds you, it does not just change your friendship, it shifts your life. So if you feel this kind of soul tie with someone and you feel tested, do not run. Wait. Look deeper. Ask yourself if what you are feeling is fear of being hurt or fear of being fully seen. One points to danger, the other to exposure. And if it is exposure, maybe that is exactly where your healing begins. When someone feels this deep bond with you, it does not stay quiet. It starts to show in how they show up, not through big speeches, not through forced words, but through something far louder, steady, steady, intentional presence. Their actions show an unspoken promise. You may not have planned the future or named the bond, but their behavior tells you something clear. They are there. In a world full of half-hearted connections, that steady presence speaks the loudest. Most people drift through relationships half-present. They show up when it is easy, disappear when things get heavy, and give just enough attention to keep the false idea alive. But when the bond is real, when it runs deep, something changes. That person does not hover on the surface of your life. They step inside it, not to control it, not to use it, but to live within it fully, always, with purpose, right away. Their presence isn't random. Their energy isn't confusing. They are not warm one day and cold the next. They don't play games with distance or keep you guessing. Their steadiness becomes the proof. This does not mean they never fail or never feel fear. They are still human, but their bond with you calls something higher from them. Even when they do not do well, they return. Even when there is fighting, they seek to fix things. Even in confusion, they look for clarity. And you begin to see something rare, emotional responsibility. The kind that says, I know this bond is not ordinary, and I won't treat it as if it is. And that awareness does not appear often, but when it does, it says everything. You will notice it first in the small things, the way they listen, not just to reply, but to truly hear, the way they remember small details, not to impress, but because they care, the way they show up when it matters, even when you never ask. It is never about being perfect, it is about being present, and true presence does not demand attention, it gives it freely. A deep soul tie does not always need words. It shows itself through the steady act of showing up, even when life feels heavy, even when feelings are hard to describe. When someone feels this type of connection with you, you naturally become a priority. Not because of duty, not out of fear of losing you, but because their heart knows where it feels at home. They begin to shape their life in ways that make room for you. Not because they have to, not because you are a burden, but because to them you are part of their world's plan. You are not squeezed in where it is easy. You are the space they want to live in. That choice is not careless, it is intentional. And you will sense the change inside yourself as well. You won't feel the need to chase, to beg, to constantly explain why you matter. You won't waste energy trying to figure out their mood or silence. You won't keep guessing where you stand. Slowly, disorder gets replaced with clearness. Worry gives way to calmness. Not because fear disappears forever, but because consistency builds something strong enough to quiet it. That is the true beauty of a soul connection. It does not erase fear, but it teaches you that love can be stronger than fear. Consistency in this kind of bond isn't boring routine. It is not the dull loop of habits. It is depth that grows roots. It is presence that changes, moves, and grows with you. They keep talking as things change. They don't disappear when you show them your true self. They lean in, they adjust, they remain. And it is not an act or a part they are playing. You can feel when someone is there out of duty versus when they are there out of agreement with their heart. With a soul-level bond, showing up feels natural, not transactional.